Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marriage Ministry Motherhood. I am Tamara V. Lawrence, the married woman, 10 years, the missionary, that's my ministry, and the mother to a 15-year-old for the last 4 years. I've been a mom, and welcome back to my channel. It's January and we're into motherhood. Yes, I thought in starting this channel, we'll start from, I guess, scratch. And I started with the first month was about ministry, then I went into be married, and now I'm looking at motherhood. And I thought the best way to start about motherhood was to say why I chose to become a mother through adoption. I don't even know if there's any straight, simple answer to that question. Um, I don't know. I think it went back to when I was 17, growing up in Jamaica, and I remember hearing stories of people leaving their children with somebody like, "Oh, can you hold my child for me while I go use the bathroom?" And then they just didn't come back. And I was like, what? And there's so many other stories that go around my mind right now that I'm thinking, did I really hear those, or did I imagine them because of my obsession with adoption and saving children and stuff? And I used to go stand close to people hoping they would ask me to hold their child so they could go to the bathroom, and then just not come back. And I remember working it out and saying, I'm not yet 18. So my mother would have to take the child in her name, but the child would be mine, and I your child, you worked out the whole thing. And all through my life, then I got into my 20s, I moved to the UK, and I moved to the UK at 20, and I decided that I was going to own an orphanage because that way I'll have way more children. But then that changed because I realized that in owning an orphanage, you then have to adopt out the children to other people, so then they won't be mine. So it kind of like, it was back and forth, this round and round. When Richard and I met, it was one of the things he knew about me strongly. Two things: that I wanted to go into mission. It was not a plan for full-time mission, but he knew I wanted to do mission, here or there. We both thought of at the time, but he also knew I wanted to adopt. And it was something we spoke about extensively, and he was like, yes, I come in agreement, I'm with that too. So we got married, and I thought, whoa, the moment you get married and you start having sex, you're gonna get pregnant. So every month I thought, this is it, yes, this is it. And it just didn't happen. But just before I got married, and this is way vulnerable here, I went to the doctor and they sent me to a gynecologist, and they said, I think you have endometriosis. What does that mean? It means that possibly you can't have kids. Oh, I went to my friend Kenny, and I cried on her and everything. And I told Richard, and he's like, I don't care, doesn't matter, we want to adopt anyway. And then I was always a sickly child growing up. I grew up with rheumatic fever. So from 4 years old, it was where you may not be able to have children. From age 4, I was told that when I had rheumatic fever until I was 18, I took injections. But I still thought anything's possible with God. And we thought of surgery, and like, no, we're not into all of that. And that's when I went plant-based. And because I used to get terrible, terrible pain. I remember I am at the bus stop in Leeds, in England, waiting on the bus to go to college. And I woke up and I was still kind of crouching on the floor. I don't know how long I was out for. People probably thought I was sleeping, crouched down there or something. I was just in pain. I passed out. And I went to college, and my lecturer's like, what's wrong with you? And I told her, I'm in so much pain. They're like, go home. It's not like you have to be here today. You're going to die here or something. Go home. So I went home, and And I remember also I was in so much pain at one point. I was in a hospital for 3 days, nil by mouth. But at that time, nothing was diagnosed until I got to Jamaica, and I guess it got worse. Um, so I went plant-based, and things changed. Things changed totally. My pains went, everything disappeared, and I went to the doctor, and they're like, "You're fine." Even recently, I went to the doctor. I'm all clear. I can have a child. you know, but God just does not see that for me, I think. But that had nothing to do with why I adopted. As I started before, it's something I've always wanted to do. And when I got to Guyana, and just across from where the mission house is, there's an orphanage. I used to live at that orphanage with those babies all the time. I wish I could take them all. Every year there's one I want to take, and Rich is always like, okay, but we'd have to go back into the jungle, so we had no time to stay out in the city and do paperwork. So then that one would slip out of our hands again, and another because we would not stay out there to do it because we wanted to be back in the jungle. And that's how it carried on going. And then with Layla, we were so close to her family, and after the death of her mom, we knew give her we wanted to give her parents. She's never really had a dad, and her mom died, and her grandma, one of the sweetest women I've ever met. When I asked her, she said, "Yes, thank you." you know, and we said we will give her a chance of having a mommy and daddy and a stable life, and we've been trying to do that. It's tough. Adoption is something else I'll talk about another time. It's tough, but it's so rewarding. Even just, I'm not sure if you heard it, she's calling mama. She's a sweetheart, but it is tough because separation from family is trauma, and it's something you have to love a child through. So that's how I became a mama, because God chose it that way. And I always felt like I was a mama. I have 23-year-olds who call me mama, who call me mommy, and so I've always been parenting, but doing it full time is something else. You do not throw any stones until you start doing it full time. Do not let any other mother feel bad about something they're doing until you start doing it full time. It is tough. It really is tough. But yes, that's my journey into motherhood. And it's one that continues. My daughter is 15, but physically more of a 8 or 9-year-old, and mentally a lot younger than that, and emotionally way younger than that too. So we've got our work cut out, but with God and help from family and friends and the school we're at, amazing, and our daughter is growing really well. You'll get to meet her. You see her on my children's stories and everything. But yes, that's how my journey into motherhood started with our daughter Layla. But we'll talk about many things as this month progresses. But I pray that you'll stay with me and you bear with me um, as we look at motherhood and some things that we really need to do to ensure that our children are one of the ones that the Lord can call on, because they're strong, because they were well trained, because we are dedicated parents. So thank you for staying here with me, and I pray that you like, comment, subscribe, push the bell so you can be a part of this journey as we look at motherhood this month of January 2021. And I'm Tamara B. Lawrence. Until then, I love y'all. Thank you. Bye.